Now, there's another Cohen, Brian Taylor Cohen, BTC. He's great. Get that Cohen, go to that YouTube channel because Brian Taylor Cohen is probably the most, like MeidasTouch, really gets to the point. You may not always agree with him, but he's very smart, he's very intelligent, and it comes out in his reporting. Also, he's working with Mark Elias, just an incredibly important elections attorney who's fighting for us. He has something like 80 cases. I'm chief officer of the Healthy Living Foundation here in California. We have about 40 cases, maybe 50. It's a lot to keep track of. And so, he's busy. His docket is full, but his reports and what he's doing in the courts, you need to be aware of it. And Brian Taylor Cohen brings great journalism. So MeidasTouch, Brian Taylor Cohen are journalists you really want to pay attention to. I want to bring up one more in this particular podcast. I'll talk about others in other podcasts, but one more I want to talk about because he brings a smile to my face. He's a gangster, and it's an interesting story. And that would be Lev Parnas. Now, Lev was MAGA. He got Trump. He helped to get Trump elected. He went to Ukraine with Rudy Giuliani and tried to work with Trump to blackmail Zelensky into making the Biden's the topic of an investigation. He's evil. He's got a son, Aaron Parnas, who's an attorney who's doing a great job on the Epstein files. And you hear on the air that Lev and Aaron are not on good terms sometimes, although Lev always speaks very lovingly of his son. It's obvious. He's a very doting, caring father. But, if your dad was so anti-American, that bad, and you're an attorney, and I use the word gangster. If I'm wrong on that, I'll stand corrected. It's just from what I've seen online about Parnas, and I think some of his own self-expressions about himself. And I don't think he ever said gangster, but I think there's a documentary that kind of painted him as a nightclub guy and so on. Let's just say he went to prison, okay? Let's just say he went to prison, which he did. Like Michael Cohen, he did many anti-American things. Unlike Michael Cohen, Lev Parnas has many inside sources at the White House. So recently, he was able to really decode what was happening with the Fulton County case where FBI went in and took all the voting records. And he pointed out that Trump is using that to demonstrate what he can do and to bring attention, false flag China as interfering with the 2020 elections, not Russia, China, which is total BS, which he also says, but he says that's the job, that's what you may be seeing coming up, is now they're going to take those Fulton County records and make it seem like other countries besides Russia interfered with recent elections. So he has very good reporting. I don't forgive him for what he did or what Cohen did. They can both rot in hell. I've been thinking about that. They did really bad things to this country. Do tune into Parnas because I don't know what his moral core is, okay, because of the bad things he did. But he's got a really good podcast with Dean Blondell and Malcolm Nance. The three of them have real chemistry. He also used to be on with Michael Cohen until they had their big blowout. Now they just badmouth Cohen, which is fine. That's it'll take you to Michael Cohen and make your own judgments. But Parnas now teams up with Blondell, who's a Canadian, but who vapes online, by the way, but he's a patriot. So I don't know much about him personally or anything. So I'm just saying I enjoy their show. Malcolm Nance, who I've known for years, not personally, but from his presence, is Black Man Spy. And he's a patriot who has never gone to prison, even when he teams up with Parnas or Cohen, as he has in the past. Nance is just pure in that sense. He's great. He's got a moral core. I don't know him personally, but everything he's done up to this point has shown me that he's unmovable. His family has a long history of public service in the military. So tune into Malcolm Nance. He has been in Greenland for us. He's been there twice now. So, that's the point. These independent journalists are bringing us the news that corporate can't bring, and they're bringing us so many fresh faces. And so Nance is great in that sense. He's just a perfect example. Brian Taylor Cohen, as I mentioned, is another great example. There are so many other independent journalists I want to share with you and tell you about. But anyway, I hope this helps you. One last one, and then we'll wrap up this podcast.